All right, brethren and sisterin, this is episode 2, the Unity Show. I am Ace One. I'm here with the RABB, a continuation of the discussion that we started last week. We appreciate y'all coming in and checking us out. Big RABB, you got anything that you want to go ahead and chime in with?
What up, family? This is your brother, the Rabbi, one of the gatekeepers of this divine energy known as the Unity Show, broadcasting live from the center of the universe. I want to express peace and prosperity to all beings on this wave of energy. So what's up, royalty? Because that's what you are. Like you said, we got a lot of good feedback on the last episode of Black Alpha Masculinity, so we wanted to kind of keep that rolling. We were going to expand on that. One thing I wanted to talk about was the things that are similar or the same with the Black American male, the family, or different black groups, things that are similar with us, because we always, you know, it's easy to point out things that are different, and we always on the dividing point, but in the Unity Show, we're going to bring this thing back together. And the first thing I would want to point out is, first and foremost, we're children of God, source, or whatever you personally want to call it. You know, we're not a religious show, but whatever you want to call it, you know, that divine being. We are children of that. So that's the thing that holds us together the most right there. That's a base for us to always see eye to eye on some level.
Most definitely. Some other similarities definitely would be that well, you know, basically we always come from a spiritual place. But do we actually have other similarities, or, I mean, we are calling this the Unity Show, so we have been separated. Is the separation that's going on in the black community? I'm going to ask you a question, Big Ram. Is the separation that's going on in the black community, is it needed? Is it definitely something bad?
I'm not going to say it's bad. There's positive and negative, and there's always contrast. So one thing we started out, we were talking about being a black alpha male. You have to be able to understand the contrast of energy. So, of course, if just because somebody has the same pigmentation of color as you, if they're out there and they're murdering and they're stealing and those type of things, they're obviously not vibrating on the same type of vibration, the person that sees those things as something that they're not willing to do and engage in. So once again, going back to the original conversation about us, you know, the God being energy, that's, you know, so I would say I guess that is needed, because you have to see contrast, and to be an alpha male, you have to be able to choose which one of those things you're going to do. So that's why I also said that there will probably be no time on the planet that everybody would be vibrating at the same vibration, and if it happened, that would be something that, you know, that's going to be a miracle, something that we haven't seen before. So
I was checking out. Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's needed. I was answering your question. It is needed.
Definitely. I was checking out Affirmation class on YouTube. I just had put in Affirmation, and they were talking about Nimrod, and when Nimrod was having everybody speaking in the same tongue or the same tone. And I thought about your comment on the last show about everybody being on one vibration. I think, yeah, definitely the contrast is needed. And just to get back to today's topic, the similarities, you know, in black alpha males or black alpha families, you know, is that we all feel like we're under something. Now, some of us are succeeding on different levels, and some people, you know, participating in their life on whatever level with their own thought system. But as a black people all over the world, we're not we're not controlling the world. We're not calling the shots in the world, obviously. You know what I mean? And that's something that we all have in common, whether we know it, whether we say we do. You know, I ain't from Africa, I'm from Detroit, all that kind of stuff. But we're all under something. And I think just from my looking at this situation, I think it's because people who are black people, no matter what hue they fall under, are basically soul people. We're basically operating from the spiritual into the physical. Now, I think the people who control the world basically operate from the physical into the spiritual, if they even go into the spiritual, but they're mostly doing the physical. So a lot of times we judge ourselves by physical things that we manifest, and we say, you know, I'm good or I'm bad, judged on some kind of physical situation or object that we've obtained. And I think we all do that as well. I think we need to get back, and especially as men, we need to get back to first judging ourselves by what's going on, the intangible side of things, you know, not the things that we can see or say or do, but the things that are our true value. I think if black people everywhere start to operate from the spiritual first and then into the physical, I think it'll be a revolution overnight. But the whole thing is just getting people to once again believe in what they can't see, you know, before they read.
That's so true. That's very true. That's definitely a similarity. There's none of us, I can say, that live by rules or paradigms that we've created for ourselves, or even people that we know had anything to do with different laws. And, you know, we had nothing to do with most of the laws that are being written and that we live by day to day, and people don't even think about that. So you have to go back to that soul, that look at what do you really value for yourself. You know, I'm not here to tell anybody what they should do, but you know, the things that you're living by, you didn't set any of it up. You know, the reason why you want to wear Jordans, you know, or, you know, something on that basic level, why you don't things like smoke marijuana, even small things like that. Those are, you know, the paradigm, it was put to you before you were even born and to your parents. So, you know, you got to break that type of thinking, first of all. Okay, where did I get the idea from? You at least got to ask yourself that question. I guess that's what I was trying to come to. That's very important, and you got to use that from soul. You got to start from soul, like you said, and then those questions will be answered to you.
Most definitely, man. Most definitely. So you did any good research, any good reading today, this week, man?
Not much, man. You know, I came up with the topic of this show because, you know, we did get some reaching out. People, they were interested in that, you know, just the concept of, man, why do we look at God almost the same as we look at, you know, Santa Claus? You know, it's the same story. So that got some people interested, and they wanted to know more about that black alpha male. So, you know, I meditated on that a little bit, and that's where the topic ended up being the same again. We kept it running. But nothing really I read this week. How about yourself?
I did manage to get into the Willie Lynch, man. I got into the Willie Lynch, did a little Googling on YouTube, you know what I mean? It's a couple good uploads on YouTube. You can get about 40 minutes of information on Willie Lynch. You can get a lot of stuff. Farrakhan breaking down Willie Lynch is up there on YouTube. You know, one thing that I do appreciate about what's going on with the advance in technology, all that, is that there's a lot of information that's available to you in a lot of different sources. You don't really have to sit down and get that read on like you did back in the day, but you can almost just investigate anything and come up with some new perspectives to kind of switch your paradigm. So I got into the Willie Lynch and the manipulation of the black woman for European economic gain, because the whole Willie Lynch thing was to control the woman, which is, it's to break the man, then control the woman. And that's exactly what's going on in black America. And that's why it's so...
The women raise the baby. I didn't mean to interrupt, but then at the end of that, then when they break the women, then the women teach the children.
Right. And then they put fear in your son, like Ghostface. The devil put fear in the black baby. You know what I mean? They put fear in your son, so that whenever he reproduced, he reproduced that fear into the child already. And so being a black alpha male is breaking that pattern, breaking that curse off of ourselves as black men, so we can rescue our mothers and our daughters and our sisters, from having to stand out in front of us and be submissive to this beast all over the world. You gotta most definitely realize you are that living spirit. That's just step one right there. That's step one, and even you gotta start seeing things through the eyes of Source, through the eyes of God. When that it's always been around. What would Jesus do? You gotta really, really start to live that. When you're making your decisions in life, and and do it without fear. Absolutely. And at the end of the day, the reason that we're dropping these shows out here is because it's going to become painfully obvious that living the life that you want to live is not hard at all. I always go back to some people already living in heaven. Like, it's really going to come down to you. Say again?
I said freedom is your right. That's your right. Be free.
Absolutely. I never heard it said like that before, but that hits the nail right on the button. So, RABB in closing, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna keep these brief. We're just dropping out, little tidbits here and there, so y'all can kind of get a taste of what we're gonna be bringing. You have anything that you want to leave the people with in closing?
Oh man, just peace and prosperity to the people. I just really want to challenge the people to try to stay in the now. That's something that's been on my mind a little bit. We're going to be solution-oriented. A lot of people, one of the things that divides us is we get caught up on history, different points of history, and how we see it. But the way I see it is, that it's almost like, like somebody telling you about a fight you didn't witness for yourself, but you're going about talking about that fight like you were actually there telling somebody else. You must know your history, but you can't get stuck there because you're getting stuck thousands of years, hundreds of years behind. You got to be able to stay in the now and make decisions from the now, where you at right this specific second. So you know your history. So